Since 1971, VOSH volunteers throughout the world have held eye care clinics for more than 3 million patients. VOSH has been the voice of optometry in developing nations. However, it simply has not been enough to address the global scale of the problem. 625 million people on this planet remain unnecessarily blind or visually impaired simply for the lack of eyeglasses. 90% of those people live in the developing world, most in the poorest countries. Poor vision affects children who then struggle to see at school, parents who are unable to see well enough to work or properly care for their families, and seniors who struggle to care for themselves. VOSH International is charting a new course to deal with this burgeoning problem by developing locally sustainable solutions. The goal is to increase our global impact whenever possible by establishing optometry schools to train eye doctors in developing countries, to supply North American optometrists to serve as the first optometric educators under the VOSH Corps program, to develop and support sustainable eye clinics for some graduates to work in, and to provide the first pair of needed eyeglasses free to school children. Some of the first chapter of this pioneering vision is being written in Nicaragua.
The need in Nicaragua, first need was for well-trained optometrists. So we helped the National University of Nicaragua develop the first optometry school in the country that would be a 5-year based university program to train Nicaraguans to become optometrists. In countries that don't have trained optometrists, there's certainly no trained optometric professors. So if you're developing an optometry school, one of the biggest needs is you have to recruit United States and Canadian trained optometrists who come and teach for a year. So the VOSH Corps program has been developed to do just that. In partnership with the Brian Holden Vision Institute, we recruit new graduates to come teach optometry in these countries abroad until the brightest students become the new professors.
Menos dos.
The first place VOSH Corps volunteer was Dr. Justin Manning, a recent graduate from the Ohio State University College of Optometry. He is teaching Nicaraguans how to care for their own eyes, creating a new profession in this country, assisting the new school and clinic development, and training not only optometrists, but future teachers of optometry as well.
It's one thing if I can treat one individual patient at a time in practice or in clinic. It's another thing to empower somebody else to take care of somebody else.
Bueno, el programa que trajo el Dr. Manning es un programa.
Dr. Manning's program was incredibly beneficial to optometry in Nicaragua because he actually came up with a better system than Nicaragua had. His exams are now more complex and they actually address the diagnosis of each patient in a higher quality manner. I fell in love with actually examining a patient and then actually helping him out, actually giving him some glasses, let them see through it and actually say, wow, I can actually see. That completely makes me passionate about this. This completely made me love this career.
It took 7 years for VOSH International, with major funding from Optometry Giving Sight, to develop and make all of this possible. Then in June of 2016, the first 20 students graduated from the 5-year program. It was a proud day for their families and themselves. It was a monumental day for the future of eye care in Nicaragua. The very next day, they were in the countryside using their skills to help children.
The real need is out in the countryside, in the rural zones. The second part of the program is really to develop clinics in the rural zones that can serve this population.
One of those pioneering graduates has returned to his rural community. A donated motorcycle allows Olman Mendoza to commute to a not-for-profit clinic in the town of Boaco. Here, he manages an optometry practice supported by VOSH and Optometry Giving Sight.
I feel extremely joyful about being the first graduating class in Nicaragua of optometrists. Knowing the history of Nicaragua and knowing about the lack of optometrists, it really fills me up with happiness knowing that now people don't have to go study abroad to become optometrists and can actually do it here.
We selected this graduate because he came from that state, and our feeling is that most of the new graduates, they want to be a success at home. So if they're from a rural zone, they'd like to go back to that same rural area and have an opportunity to serve their community.
In Boaco and in other rural communities in Nicaragua, Ullman and others from the Yunnan School of Optometry volunteer at outreach clinics for school children with support from VOSH International and Optometry Giving Sight. Most of these children have never seen an optometrist before. Marlon was struggling at school to see the blackboard and even his notebook, he says. His new glasses not only improve his vision, they put a smile on his face.
This is the way that I can help out my community. This is the way that I can help out those children who, because of low resources or low income that their families go through, aren't able to get treatment or glasses that they need.
When you go to work and you see all the big area that optometry can work on, you begin to feel proud and you begin to say, I'm doing a nice job and I'm doing a job that is so necessary for the people.
The VOSH International Technology Transfer Program has supplied equipment to the Nicaraguan clinic and training facilities as it has in countries around the world. VOSH chapters from Pennsylvania to Texas to Puerto Rico have collected and shipped to clinics to improve the quality of care and now to help with the quality of teaching, as is happening in Nicaragua. Each of these students is developing a career that will sustain them and support their families while helping their country to move forward. All of the first graduates of the Yunnan program are now employed. 4 have stayed on to teach new students at the university.
Not only am I going to work as an optometrist, that was something that was not seen in Nicaragua, but I'm also going to help in the professional formation of those future optometrists.
VOSH understands that this is really what we need to be doing with our time and our efforts. It's not just relief work, but development work in these countries, developing their capacity to train optometrists for themselves and to provide the service delivery to the poorest populations in the rural areas.
There are many ways that you, your friends, and your colleagues can help. By volunteering, by helping to spread the word about what VOSH is accomplishing. And with a donation to Optometry Giving Sight, you will support this sustainable solution to this global vision problem for millions of the world's poorest people.